Hello, welcome back. It's Fred in the shed, up in the shack. And on this video, we'll be taking a closer look at this Retevis RT648, almost indestructible radio. I'd like to thank Retevis for sending this radio in for review. In a moment, we'll be looking around it in closer detail. We'll go through all of the features the radio offers, a few things that I like, and perhaps one or two things I'm not so keen on. Then we'll do an audio test on transmit and receive. And then finally, as this radio is sold as a heavy use business radio or an all-terrain leisure radio, we'll do some testing, more than I normally do. We'll do some extreme testing on this radio and see how it stands up. Let's get cracked into it. First thing you notice when you get this out of the box is its size. It is a proper sized radio. Looks very, very professional, aimed mostly at the professional market, but good for leisure as well. A couple of guys on the radio recently said they use PMR radios when they go fishing. This one would be ideal because it's IP67 Waterproof. That is a 30-minute submergence in 1 metre of water with no problem. I believe it goes down to 10 metres as well for a few minutes. I'm going to be testing that. Unfortunately, I'm not rich enough to own a swimming pool, but I will be submerging this completely in water to see if it still works. Certainly not a discrete radio. Now, if I bring in from comparison, this is a Bofang treble 8. And you can see the size difference now. These treble 8s are probably the most widely used radio. When I had my COVID jabs recently, I noticed the nurses had these treble 8s, but this absolutely dwarfs. Now, thankfully, a very easy radio to use straight out of the box. You can program this if you want to add extra features such as VOX, voice activated, reduce the squelch, things like that. Comes out of the box programmed with 16 channels on legal PMR, no problems. It does have the CTCSS, what they call privacy codes, not really privacy codes, but anti-interference codes, if you like. There's 121 additional digital codes you can add to your 16 channels, and that gives you a total of 1,936 combinations. So the idea of that is, if you're in a busy environment, say business-wise, you can program your radios so they're all on the same channel, all on the same digital code, and there's very, very little chance that you will receive unwanted signals. But other people using non-digital radios, perhaps like the Bofang now, or if they've got their CTCSS code switched off, they will hear your transmissions. It's just that your receive won't be interrupted. Straight out of the box, everything is set up for you. If you buy 2 of these radios, they will be compatible on the channels. It does have a whole host of features. These have to be activated via software. For that, you will need to buy an additional programming cable, and that goes in the side here. Now, a lot of these radios use the Kenwood 2-prong cable, and there are loads of accessories available for that. A bit strange, this one uses the Motorola cable. Not so many accessories are available, but if you look on the Retevis site, you can buy the appropriate programming cable, and they also can sell you a headset and I believe a speaker mic. Personally, I think it would have been better to have a two-prong cable to access all of the Kenwoods, but maybe that's because of the waterproofing. I'm not entirely sure. Looking around the radio, incredibly easy to use. On the top of the radio, simple on-off volume control.
7.
And then the channel selector. Quite like it that it's marked in white there, so you can see as well as hear what channel you're on.
8, 9, 10, 11.
On the side of the radio, a nice large PTT, pushed to talk, and then 2 function buttons. As standard, straight out of the box, the top one breaks the squelch so you can hear distant stations. The squelch is preset. I believe it's preset at number 5. Again, if you buy the additional cable, you can adjust that in software. And then the bottom one is a simple scan feature. Press that. The radio starts scanning all of the 16 channels. It will stop if it picks up a signal. Press it again. Your scanning stops. These 2 buttons, by the way, in the software, are programmable for a number of different features. If you delve into the programming cable, and the software, there's lots more you can adjust. It has a voice activated function, very popular with headsets, that's fully adjustable. A timeout timer to save the battery so people don't forget to dekey and flatten the battery out. You can switch on and off the scan function. You can choose which channels you would like the radio to scan. Finally, the digital code, you've got 121 to choose from, so if you were buying a group of these radios for a business, for example, you can set up a unique setting, a unique set of codes that will only work on your particular radios and should give you a degree of privacy. Included in the box with the radio, it's nice to see, you get a base station charger, USB 5 volt of course, the obligatory lanyard, which you may or may not want to use, and a very nice strong metal sprung belt clip. Quick look inside the radio now. Firstly, the battery is a large size, 1200 mAh for long running time. The radio features an all alloy chassis for additional strength, and the battery connections are worth a mention. They're really nicely done with that rubber seal there reinforcing the IP67 waterproofing. Going to move on to the transmit and receive tests now. Recently, I've been testing a lot of legal half-watt PMR radios. I live in a very built-up area. What I found is I generally get between 700 metres and 1 kilometre before the signal becomes a little broken up and unusable. It all depends on your terrain, how you intend to use these radios. If you take them out into the open, hiking, camping, maybe fishing, things like that, in the open field, you can get quite a decent range from half a watt. There's lots of videos on YouTube where people are getting sometimes 10, 15 mile contacts on top of hills, even further when DX kicks in. But unfortunately, in a built-up area, or if you're going to be using these inside a building, the range on PMR does reduce considerably. If you're inside on a building, think of maybe 100 to 200 metres, especially if there's metal construction in the walls, things like that. But no, we're going to go out and test this. Not worried about the range so much, but just on the audio quality on the transmit and the receive. It should be quite good because it must have quite a large speaker in this big body on the radio. So let's get on and do that. For this testing, we're going to pair up with the Retevis RB627, little dual bander PMR radio. That's a nice radio. As I say, I'm not going to stretch out and go for the maximum distance. I'm just going to walk a few streets away, going to put a few rows of houses between the radios. Just want to check to make sure the audio is clear. And then we'll swap the radios over and do the whole thing in reverse. Right, here we are. About 280 metres from the house. I've just put a few lines of houses between me and the other radio, so quite a good chest. This is where I get some funny looks at this part of the video. Right, this is a little Retevis dual bander. Let's call back to the home and see how it comes out. Yeah, test audio, testing audio, a few rows of houses.
Test audio, testing audio, a few rows of houses between the radios. So audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, test, 1, 2, 3, 4, audio.
So here we go, back again. Going to do the whole test in reverse now, so let's give it a go. Yeah, audio check, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio.
Yeah, audio check, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, audio check, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio.
Being completely waterproof, this radio, you don't have to worry about it getting wet. Ideal for use out of doors, maybe fishing, things like that. So I think washing it with a hose pipe won't do it any problems, but I think we can go perhaps a little bit further on this test. What do you think? Right, we're going to submerge it in this vase of water and then we'll retest it to see how things go. Let's switch on.
10.
Here we go. Right, it's been a few minutes. I've had a cup of tea. Let's get it out. Let's give it a good shake because the water's going to be on the edge of the speaker there. Give it a good shake and we'll give it a test. Right, after that submerging, let's have a quick look, see if I can do this one-handed. See if we can test the battery department now. There we go. A little tiny bit of moisture on the edge of the sill, but yeah, completely dry. There's a tiny little drop there, maybe. Mostly, yeah, absolutely gone completely dry. So yeah, I think it passed that just for general use. Just do a quick transmit test. Oh, sorry about that. A bit close. Let's go. 1 2 audio, 1 2 1 2 1 2 audio. So yeah, I think you need to let the microphone dry out a little bit, but yeah, it seems to work absolutely fine. Right, this next test is a little, well, it's a lot extreme actually. I did contact Retevis and said, could I do a drop test on it? And they said, yeah, it's a strong radio. It will survive a relatively heavy drop. So I'm going to take that to the extreme because I'm going to throw it out the window. Retevis, if you're watching, look away. But I figured that it's a fair drop. It's 20, what are we, about 20 foot, 25 foot onto the grass, hopefully. I'll aim for the grass anyway. And I figured this is the most extreme test. No one's going to do this to a radio. So if it survives this, I'm pretty sure it will survive falling off your belt. But anyway, let me just change hands and let's launch it. Right, going to try and avoid the washing line when I do this. Here we go. Now that was an extreme test. No one's going to do that. Let's have a look, shall we? Yep, you can see the impact mark there on the case, but there's no damage. Check the controls. Seems to be working okay. I'll just do a quick check on the transmit.
1 2 1 2 1 2 audio, 1 2 1 2 audio.
Yeah, it works absolutely fine. Well, that was an extreme test. No one's going to do that. And as you can see, no damage at all. Survived that. So this is a tough radio. This really is going to stand up to pretty much anything that you throw at it. So yeah, pretty good, pretty impressed. Right, let's get up in the shack and we'll do some conclusions. The Retevis RT648. It takes a licking, keeps on ticking. It's a tough little bugger, isn't it? It stood up to those tests really well. And those tests were extreme. I mean, no one's going to deliberately drop this in a bucket of water, and I don't imagine anyone's going to throw this out of a window, but it just shows you it will take a knock. If you had this on your belt and you was up a ladder or something, good chance that it's going to survive. Got all of the features that you would want on a normal PMR radio, the CTCSS codes for a little bit of non-interference, VOX feature, and I think the only thing that I would criticise about it, if it is a criticism, is that Motorola speaker mic jack. I think that might have been better with the Kenwood system. I say it might be because of the waterproofing, the IP67, but not so many accessories available, but they're still available. You can get them on the Retevis site. So there it is. Currently I checked the price, UK price £23, UK about $29. I might get a discount code, I might not, but I don't know by the time this video hits the channel. If I do get a discount code, I'll drop it in the description. If not, it's not expensive really. Very tough little radio. Gonna bring this one to a close now, and I hope that testing was interesting. It was a bit extreme, I do admit, but also the information that I've given you about this radio, if you're looking for a really tough legal PMR radio, it's all there. Buying links from Retevis in the description below. So just as always for me to say, there's the old thumbs up from Fred. Thank you very much for your view time. It's a tiny little channel. I do appreciate every view. Please give me the thumbs back below. I'd appreciate that. And also, if you're into these radios or maybe CB radios, then consider me a sub, because I've got a few more Retevis radios to review in the future, and also there'll be the usual CB stuff coming on. But as for now, as always, stay safe, look after each other. Cheers guys and girls, catch you on the next one.